I'd like to share some thoughts on the topic of faith. The word faith is probably mostly used in a religious context, but I want to approach it from a more open and more general perspective. Like, you can have faith in basically everything. You can have faith in your ability to find a solution to a problem. I was walking in the park, or actually riding my bike in a park, about 3 months ago, I think. And there was a snake in the park. And a guy was walking towards my direction, and I was so excited to see a snake in the park, so I was telling him, hey, look, there's a snake. And then we had some small talk, and he was kind of saying, yeah, the snakes are here. So we both recognized that in the last years we have often seen snakes in the park, and many years before we didn't. And he said, yeah, it's probably because of climate change. And then he was talking, humanity's lost anyway. And he was giving me examples of how lost we are, and I want to illustrate that as an example of faith. So what I felt from this conversation is that he had a very strong faith in how lost humanity is, and that's, I feel it's a scary place actually to be in, because when you're very convinced that it's lost, will you bring up any energy to invest into a positive direction, into making positive changes? Probably not, right? It's the same with, let's say, you want to lose weight, but you don't really believe in that you can do it. Or let's say you have a very strong faith, you're very convinced that you will absolutely not be able to do it. So will you go and get information about diet, about sports, about nutrition, about how your body works and everything? No, you will not even make that effort, right? Because your faith is, it will not have any positive outcome. Another example of faith is the strongest man in the world, let's say. I don't know how to spell his name, but he's called The Mountain. He has the deadlift world record as far as I know. So let's say he had a faith that he won't be able to lift heavy weights at all. Would he have started? Probably no. Or Christopher Columbus, who sailed across the Atlantic, and we say he discovered America. If he had a very strong faith that there would be no positive outcome of such a journey, would he have started? If he had a very strong faith that there was no positive outcome? Of course not. If he had maybe a little faith, yeah, maybe there will be a positive outcome. That might be enough to start some energy flowing, start an effort. So I feel we don't really understand faith, the quality of faith, and that we tend to live up to our own faith. We live up to our own expectations. And our faith is such a crucial quality if we want to understand why we create the reality we create in our lives, why we create the lives that we currently live. And I hope I have illustrated it with these examples. So our perception is not like that often. We feel we cannot do something because of this reason and that reason, and I am just a person that is quite incapable, I cannot do such a thing. And then you won't do it. And then you feel your own faith being confirmed and being established even stronger. So you might want to start working out. You don't have any faith in there will be a positive outcome, so you might start doing a few exercises, and then you find a reason why it doesn't work out, and you stop, and then you feel, yeah, I already knew I won't be able to do it. But this is not because you are not able to do it, but because you have so much faith in your belief that it's impossible. And then comes the question, why do people have a certain faith, or how does a certain faith get established? And that is very much during our childhood experience where a faith gets established. We can even, and we do that quite a lot, I discover it myself, we can absorb even the faith of our parents. Many people feel like losers who cannot really get something done in life. That's their faith. That's their self-concept, their belief about themselves. But what if we understand how this faith has been really created? This belief has been created. Because we blame ourselves usually, yeah, I'm just not good enough. But if we look closer, there was no support during childhood. No support during childhood, we could also say your parents did not really have any faith in you. And you took over their lack of faith in you. So let's say if a father looks at his child, yeah, this child will be a failure. Will he put in an effort of supporting the child to live up to its real potential? No, because he has a faith that there is no real potential in this child. So if you grew up in such a situation where your parent does not really believe in you, does not really have faith in that you bring something really valuable and positive to the world, they will not support this positive, beautiful thing that you bring with you to enter the world, to express it to the world. And you will basically believe that, because we just believe what our parents believe. That's how it is. So it's really important, if you have a very negative self-concept and a strong faith in that you are useless, to understand how this faith got established and understand that you're not actually useless. You did not have support because your caregivers, they did not believe in you. How they will not support you, of course. So yeah, I hope that makes sense, and I could explain that a bit. And then there are such things as a collective faith, like the faith of a society, or the faith of the collective faith of planet Earth, you could say. Do we really believe that we can change the real problems we have? Like, do we have faith that we can have world peace? Because if we don't have faith that we could have world peace, will we really make an effort to learn about like a communication that establishes peace, about human relationships, how we need to support each other emotionally to live in peace with each other? I feel most of the world does not really have a faith that world peace is possible. Most of the people, I feel, is like has the faith that we're basically lost. Like also regarding our environmental situation, yeah, we cannot figure this out, how to live in harmony with nature. Yeah, if that's your faith, and I feel it's of very most people also, yeah, then we keep on living up to that expectations of ourselves. We keep on destroying the earth. We will further pollute, and yeah. So there is at least a bit of faith required to make a change. A faith that maybe peace will be possible on this planet, and maybe even I am strong enough to contribute a little tiny piece to peace. Yeah. So this is what we need. We need a global society who has faith in a positive future to create a positive future. So this quality of faith is so crucial. It is so important to really understand and to work on your faith, to be aware of what do you really believe in your heart. Do you believe in yourself in your heart? Do you believe in the goodness of being a human being, that human beings generally have something good in them that they can learn to express to the world? Do you believe that in your heart? Do you have faith in that? Or do you have faith in that human beings are just bad? They will always create bad things and it's not avoidable. So yeah, I hope you got an idea now of faith, and I wanted to encourage you to simply think a bit about it, to contemplate, to maybe you feel inspired to discover what your real faith is, what you believe in your heart. That is what I want to encourage with my words. Thank you for listening.